So Gary and I just gazed. I don't know how long we gazed.
An eternity.
So I don't know, I think it's good to say something after you gaze, what you experienced. Maybe nobody has anything to say, it doesn't matter, but anyway, this is probably more powerful if Gary and I were looking at each other, but we can't do both, so. Gary, you tell us what you experienced.
Well, a calmness. I was aware of my breathing. I was aware of your breathing, the sound of your breathing. The steady, steadier that I held my gaze, not trying to stare too fiercely or too intently, but nevertheless to try to keep the focus from wandering all over the place, trying to pick a point and using that as the center, but then relaxing the gaze and letting the peripheral vision come in as well, and then holding it steady. After a certain period of time where I was able to do that, well, then the image of the other person begins to dissolve. Not completely for me, but I began to, the facial features of the person that I'm looking at, Craig, seemed to soften as well and shift and change and not become quite as solid as I would normally represent another person to myself. And it's just coming back to that over and over again. The longer that I can hold that gaze steady, then the more what I'm seeing dissolves.
Any shift in consciousness we experienced before and after?
Well, the shift for me is to become more calm and more steady. And then I would tend, I would notice things that would distract me for a moment and then bring that back. So I can't say that I can think of anything right now that is all that profound, but this is beginning stages. We haven't done this too much.
We've done it only once, I think.
Yeah,
maybe
one
twice.
other time.
We've just done it once.
And I don't know, time, I'm not looking at the clock, so I don't know whether that was 5 minutes or 15
I have
or
no idea.
or what.
Couldn't have been that long, but it seems long.
Yeah, time in meditation and contemplation and in gazing, time does crazy things. It essentially becomes much more fluid. It's not as linear.
That was pretty powerful for me. Early in my career, I had wild stuff with gazing, and then I've had wild stuff with Betty. But Betty and I quit doing much of this kind of gaze. We were just doing a lot of other gazing, more like yum type stuff or water monkeys or whatever. We were just together a lot. Sometimes it was light gazing, but I was very vulnerable, man. I was kind of surprised. It was very feminine for me. And you look like the guru, man. I don't remember looking at you thinking, shit, there's the guru, man. You looked like the guru from minute one, which was powerful.
At a certain level, the guru is in all of us, right?
Yeah, but you some bitch, you've been the guru in the past. I wasn't realizing it. I need to realize it more. Gary's been doing this before. He's sneaky.
I am sneaky.
I don't know. I was pretty shook up, which is kind of good, I guess. Rather than usually I'm kind of like, I've gauged a lot of Betty. I'm just always dominating her, I was always she was having visions, and I wouldn't have that much necessarily. But I was doing a lot of meditating, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just realized how much I kind of put a wall up by trying to. But this time I was just like, I was kind of
more receptive than projecting energy out.
It was shook me up a little, which was good. Which is good. That's what it's supposed to do. Really. No, anything could happen. Anything could happen, including nothing.
Yeah.
But I was pretty affected by it.
At some point, the visual neurons in this back of the head, the occipital lobe, become tired, sort of physically tired. They sort of get exhausted at firing off that neurochemistry that they're getting from stimulation of the retina. And the reason that I'm saying this is that that's part of dissolving. Your visual cortex can't just focus on something forever without getting tired and expended. Those little neurons, they get sort of tired. That's when things start to dissolve. And it's important not to just, for me, it's important not to just think of that as a physiological reaction, because right then and there you're getting into raw perception. And raw perception is amazing, I think, because raw perception doesn't have all of the conceptual labels on it. This is a face, for instance, that I'm looking at. That relaxes. And if you can, I think that if you can stay with that, that perception is able to loosen up. And you're able to experience directly the letting go at another level.
Very well said. Well, we're going to the lake. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to go jump in the lake.
We might take our camera in the lake just to show you how crowded it is up there. Thank you very much.